strangely enough, I've got a fantastic relationship with other women in the other parties because we can sit down and we can discuss. And in some ways, I discuss more with them in some ways than I do with some of the men in my own party. That's a very strange thing. And it's difficult for me to admit this, but I think it's because the men do it a different way, and it's not a way that suits me as a woman or as a parliamentarian. Mon nom est Raymonde Folco, je suis députée pour la circonscription de Laval-les-Îles et je suis députée pour le Parti libéral du Canada depuis 12 ans. Bonjour, bonjour. In my family, politics was a subject that we talked about around the dinner table. And in my family, people were very involved in politics, but not on a personal involvement. And I got a lot more involved when I started working with immigrant children particularly, and saw how the immigration laws and the integration laws, and I come from Quebec, so how all this was impacting the children in the schools in the way that they were learning French and so on. And from then on, I became more and more involved, not so much directly in the children, but in the legislation that was shaping the children and shaping their parents. And that's how I got involved in immigration, and through that, I got involved into politics. I was chair of a Quebec Advisory Council to the Minister of Immigration of Quebec. And I'd done that for several years, and things were going very well. But at some point, I said to myself, it's all very well to advise somebody, but there comes a point when you want to do it yourself. You wake up and you say, why am I always advising somebody? Why am I always one removed from where the action is taking place? And that's what happened to me. I was one removed, and at some point I said to myself, maybe I don't want to be there anymore. I want to be where I'm actually pushing forward the legislation because I know what the ideas are. Around the same time, quite by chance, I got a call. It was just before the 1993 election, general election. I got a call from the person who was the chief organizer for the Liberal Party of Canada in Quebec, who asked me, would I like to run in a riding? Now, what is really interesting was that the riding that he was telling me I could run in was a riding that I could not possibly hope to win for the Liberal Party. And I decided to go for it anyway. I thought I'll try my chance, I'll see if I like it in terms of running and meeting people and presenting my ideas, and I loved it. And decided to run in '97 in another riding, and I finally won it. The most challenging thing for me in politics is making sure that the idea that I have carries through. You have to push it forward in a very aggressive way. It's a man's way, I think. And I hate to put those labels, but I think that label applies. It's a man's way of pushing an idea through his own personality, whereas women tend to do things collegially.
On behalf of all Canadians and the citizens of Laval-les-Îles,
I think it's really important for young women to get involved. You cannot get involved early enough. There are several reasons. One is that young women, many of them say to me, I'm not a feminist, they say. It's all been won, we don't have anything to do, it's all there. And my reply is, it's never all there. You have to keep on fighting all the time. You have to keep on coming back and making sure that whatever you have won or whatever your mothers and grandmothers have won, and the men with them, that you don't lose it, you don't backtrack, that you keep on moving forward and not moving backwards. So that's one thing. But in politics is a fantastic, fascinating, valorizing, or it could be. To be a woman and to have direct access into how you're going to shape Canada as a country in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 50 years. I mean, that's a fantastic, it's a défi, we say, it's a challenge. It's a fantastic challenge. And, you know, it's what could be bigger? To actually have input in what your fellow citizens are going to live through, and that you feel responsible in some small part maybe, but you feel responsible for what is happening, how this country of ours is developing. I mean, that there's no higher high than that is, for me anyway. What a fantastic country Canada is that has allowed me to do this. I've worked hard for it, but I was able to work hard for it. And, you know, very few countries can do this, and I'm very thankful.